Hi yogis, hi friends. Amir and Lena and I welcome you to our practice. Just been to the lake. It's 80 something degrees and 90 something percent humidity. It's definitely summer. Feels like India, ready for practice. So much going on in the world right now. I don't even know where to start with my own thoughts. So rather than doing any of that, I'm doing none of it. I'm just going to bring your attention again to this mat. Every day I come into this room, I sit on this mat, I close my eyes, I find my breath, and I try to find some sort of calmness to be able to continue on with the madness that's going on in the world. So for the next 90 minutes, let's see if we can block out everything that's going on and bring yourself to your space, to your sacred spot, to your mat, where we find our breath and we change our mindset and we bring ourselves into a homeostasis and even balance. I thought we'd concentrate on our hips today. I get lots of requests for hips. So we'll start with our usual practice and move into some hip work. I find myself on the edge of my blanket, my pelvis a little bit higher than my knees. I find that an easy way to soften in. Feel your sit bones as the anatomical attachment to the earth. It's our purpose and our place, our landing pad, our launching pad. Feel the weight of your thighs, your femurs releasing towards the ground. Maybe the softening of the muscles in your hips. Think of the ball into the socket. The ball is the femur, the socket is the pelvis. Trying to align the positions so we can allow the congruency of the joints and the softening into the practice. You can feel the slightly tilted pelvic bowl, anteriorly tilted. If you don't feel that, maybe sit on something a bit higher. The anterior tilt of the pelvic bowl sets up the rest of the spine for alignment. Maybe you can feel the arch in the low back, the lordosis, the concavity, the natural curve. In your mind's eye or with your hands, bind the low ribs together, like a sash around our low rib cage, helping to hold the energies and musculature with some awareness so that when we bring our hearts tall, what opens is the upper back. The shoulder blades find their way into position. Maybe take your elbows, pull them back towards the back of the mat, and then let them release. Elbow tips towards the ground. Sit bones to the ground, crown of the head lifting. That beautiful sense of the rise from the root. Laying down the deep tendrils so the tree can stay nice and tall. Close your eyes. See if you can see in your mind's eye the back of your skull aligned with your sacrum. Maybe the earlobes aligned with the shoulders. And maybe the heart, the chakra, center of the sternum beaming up towards the sky. Take a moment here, check in with your systems. What's going on in your mind? Is it racing? Is it quiet? Is it somewhere in between? What's happening in your body? Are you feeling some discomforts? Are you feeling grounded? Are you feeling tethered? Take a moment, listen to all the receptors feeding back the information to your brain. All of this information trying to keep us safe and healthy. Go ahead and invite your breath now. I suggest you inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth, or find what feels organically right for you. We know that inhaling through our nose will warm and hydrate and purify that welcome air. oxygen, prana, life force. Go ahead and sip it in, welcome it in. Feel it as it comes into your sacred vessel, your body here, deep down into the lung beds, bringing with it all the nutrients and things that we need to feed ourselves. And as you blow out through your pursed lips, you can hear and feel the exhaust as it leaves your body and your mind. So much information trying to make its way into our brains. Preserve what you need and see if you can get rid of what you don't need. You guys know we're practicing all around the world with our eyes closed for a minute or so. See if you can feel the connectedness to our fellow yogis, our like-mindedness, everyone sitting, finding our breath, uniting our breath. See if you can make your exhalations twice as long as your inhalations as we sit here, knowing that helps to drop us into our relaxation state. Before you open your eyes, take your thumbs, cross them like bird wings. We place them gently over the heart chakra, the center of the chest, our compassion center. Feel your heartbeat inside your chest. Maybe feel the warmth on the outside. Let's stop for a moment here to feel our humanness. Blink your eyes open, look at the front of your mat, and bring the gaze back up. Let's offer it up. This wonderful sense again of as we lift our fingertips skyward, the sit bones go deeper down into the earth. Our grounding, our presence. Keep lifting the fingertips skyward. Feel the fabric start to release, the warmth and the tension to the tissues, the most potent stimuli for release. Look up at your hands. Take your thumbs back from the opening of your upper back. Some shoulder movement, of course, but more from the opening of the upper back. Put your ears between your elbows, touch your palms together. Index fingers to the heavens. Steeple hands. Grounding, lifting. See if we can open the waistline here. A little bit of side bending, right? So the bottom of the rib cage starting to pull away from the top of the pelvic bowl. All the musculature getting warmed and hydrated. Come to rest. See if you can touch the sky. Press your palms together, inhale, and on your exhale, slowly lower down through main central third eye, tip of the nose, lips, throat, onto our big hearts. Thumbs on the heart opens. You can feel the gentle back bend of your upper back. Spin the hands to the earth. Let's get our neck to release. Inhale. Exhale, right hand holds the floor. The left ear will soften to the left shoulder. The weight of your head and gravity doing most of the work. Your awareness of the right side of the neck tension, softening into it, breathing into it. Inhale, and on your exhale, take the right ear up towards the sky like there's a string pulling the ear towards the heavens. The muscles will contract for a moment, and then when you release, maybe the ear will soften a bit more towards that left shoulder. Inhale the head back up to center. Opposite side, left hand holds the floor. Right ear softens in. Inhale. On your exhale, take the left ear towards the sky. Muscles will contract, left side of the neck. Release, and right ear potentially will soften in towards the shoulder. Inhale the head back up to center, and on the exhale, we keep it on the horizon line. Take it around to the left. See if you can find the movement through the 7 vertebrae in our cervical spine. Let's do a little nodding of our head, yes. Carving out some more of the path. Bring the head to rest and take it maybe a bit farther. Inhale back through center, exhale around to the right. Paying attention to the sensations and where the blockage might be. Do your chin up and down. Carve it out. And a little bit farther around you go. Inhale back through center, exhale around to the left. Maybe you can feel the work that's already been done. Beautiful. And let's go a little deeper. Inhale, exhale, right hand holds the floor. The chin will move out towards or to the left shoulder point. Accentuating the stretch, right side of the neck. Inhale the head back up. Exhale around to the right. Inhale again. Exhale, left hand holds the floor. Chin moves out towards or to right shoulder point. Inhale back through center. Exhale, lower the chin slowly to jugular notch. It's all in the neck, not chest caving in or shoulders rounding. Inhale. On your exhale, trace your chin along the line of your right collarbone. If the chin starts to leave the collarbone, I suggest you stop at that point. If not, continue. See if you can find the end of the collarbone into the shoulder blade. Inhale it back through center. Exhale around left. Keeping chin on collarbone for safety. Inhale back through center. Exhale. Lift the heart. Lift the head. Push the crown of the head to the sky. Inhale again. On your exhale, imaginary hand behind your heart, pushing your heart forward, finding extension through that thoracic spine. We lower our head back very slowly, trying to find as many spots to share the movement as possible. Don't let your head drop back. Lower it back. No dizziness, no pain in the spine allowed. Explore the end range here. Maybe you'll feel the stretch from your chin to your collarbones. Beautiful. Inhale, head back up. Neutral position. Take your L hands. Thumbs on the tops of the thigh bones. So you're not on your pelvis, you're on your thighs. Think of your skeleton inside you, your glistening white body double. And let's go ahead and come forward. Inhale. On the exhale, hold the thighs down. Rock the pelvis over the fixed thighs. Your sit bones will come up. The chin will stay lightly tucked, and we lead with the crown of the head towards the front of your mat. Take your hands out in front of you now for down dog hands. Press the index to the floor and the thumb towards the floor. Drive the elbows towards the ground and then back towards the knees. The idea here is that we're lengthening our spine, just a millimeter of space, creating the opening for the discs to get plumped up. See if you can let your elbows down onto the earth now for Sphinx arms. Sit bones are up. Pelvis is rocked forward. Take a moment here and bring the crown of the head to the front of the room. For just a moment now, let the head go. The opposite of what we just did in extension, it's flexion, and you're going to get a traction down your whole spine. Inhale the head back up to neutral. Exhale, walk your hands back. Let's cross our legs the opposite way now. Uncommon cross. Let's do the same thing we just did. Press down on the thighs. Start the arch in the back. Let the pelvis rock forward. Chin stays tucked. Walk your hands out, down doggy hands. Push the hands to the ground and drive the elbows back towards the knees. Find some space in the spine. Get rid of the compression. Open the slinky. See if you can put the elbows down onto the earth or onto a prop maybe. And use that as the impetus for lengthening again. When you lengthen out, go ahead and let the crown of the head release. Traction out the spine, get rid of the tension. Inhale the head back up. And exhale, walk your hands back. Take your arms up, cactus arms, widespread fingers. Inhale. On your exhale, thumbs go back. Hitchhiker shoulders. Ball and socket, just like our hips. See if you can find the movement, isolated, ball and socket. Let the hands drop down now, fingers towards the earth. We'll bring them back up on the inhale and on the exhale back into your external rotation. Inhale, exhale, drop them down. Inhale back up. Exhale, fly machine arms, bring them forward and together. Turn your hands, your palms face you. Inhale. Exhale, push the sides of the hands and elbows together with an isometric press. Start to take them up. See if you can maybe get your elbows up by your third eye, your nose. When the elbows start to come apart, pause for a moment. Pull the elbows apart now. Inhale. And on your exhale, bring the elbows down slowly through that thick fluid. Strengthening the muscles and resetting our whole shoulder girdle complex. Do it a few times. Isometric press up. Inhale and exhale, take it down. Come through it one more time. Press up. And let her down nice and easy. Elbows at the side, turn your light bulbs. Free up the energy in your hands. All the work we do with our hands and electronica, trying to free this up. I can feel my gardening hands for sure doing this. Take them up. Back through your queen wave and go ahead and shake them out. All right, fly these beautiful long arms up. Stretch your fingers to the opposite sides of the room. Take your shoulders up by your ears and then drop them down. Try not to use your upper traps here. So nothing that connects into the neck, all the muscles that are in your shoulder here, your deltoids, your rotator cuff, use those. Try to stay away from your upper traps. Grab your tennis balls, imaginary tennis balls, and start to flap your pterodactyl wings. Holding a position close to this 90 degrees to start with. And then we can start to fly, hands touch, down, finding the, again, elegance and grace in these long arms of ours. Let's move into eagle arms, right on top, left on bottom. You guys know how to modify. You can just have your arms like this. If you can, get your fingers into your palm. If not, back like this. Wherever you're at, see if you can find your stability. Inhale. And on your exhale, drive the right elbow into the left. We protract our shoulder blades, so really not leaning forward, but pulling the shoulder blades forward on the rib cage. Inhale them back to the neutral. And on the exhale, pinch the pencil between the shoulder blades, see if you can pull them back. Maybe get a mobilization of that middle back. Inhale the arms back to neutral. On the exhale, they're going to make a right hand turn, just the arms to begin. Stretch of the posterior rotator cuff on the left or posterior deltoid. Starting to mobilize the shoulder sockets. Go ahead and turn your head now. You can see that things are warmed up. Maybe you can look over the right shoulder. Inhale the whole unit back to center. And on the exhale, just the arms to the left. Take it around, nice and easy. Staying with your sensations. And then turn the gaze. See if maybe you can look over the left shoulder. Inhale everything back to center. And on the exhale, just the elbows will release down. You'll feel your shoulder blades right up the rib cage. Start to round the spine a bit. See if you can fit the left elbow into your belly button or the bottom of your rib cage, rounding through and then letting the head release at the end. Inhale everything back up, neutral position. On the exhale, pull the low ribs in, so don't go through that rib ring. Hold it nice and stable and take the elbows up. The shoulder blades will pull down the back now. Elbow points up towards the sky. Here's where we imagine the hand between our shoulder blades pushing our heart to the heavens. Oh my goodness, a beautiful stretch of that upper back. And then if it's allowable for you, let your head release back. No dizziness. Inhale back to center. Exhale, release the arms down and take them up opposite. Left on top, right on bottom. Let's go back through the sequence. Inhale, exhale, left into right, protracted blades. Finding your breath and that subtle movement. Inhale, blades back, and exhale, pinch them back, retraction, thoracic spine extension. Inhale to neutral, exhale, right hand turn, arms first. Then your head. Inhale everything back to center. Exhale left with the arms. Then the head. Inhale back to center. Exhale, elbows release towards belly button. Start the movement just with the elbows. Then start to round the spine. Right elbow to belly button or bottom of ribs. And then the crown of the head releases towards the ground. Inhale back up. On the exhale, pull the low ribs in. Take the elbow tips towards the sky. Imaginary hand between those blades, opening up, releasing the head back. Inhale your head back to neutral. Release your arms to the earth. Oh my goodness, such a yummy warm up for our upper back and shoulders. Okay, let's move our blankets. Open up your legs. After sitting like that, curl your toes under right foot and push your heel to the back of the room. Express open the back of the calf, maybe push the back of the knee towards the sky. Pause for a moment there. Inhale your body weight forward onto the tips of the right toes and over onto the top of the right foot for plantar flexion of that ankle. Inhale again, and on the exhale, one long movement, take it back and see how you've already opened up your calf, that whole posterior line. Inhale, right leg forward. Exhale, left foot goes back, curl the toes under, heel to the back of the room, crown to the front, back of the knee to the sky. Pause for a moment, find your sensations. Inhale the body weight forward onto the tips of the toes, round over onto the top of the foot. Find that plantar flexion in the ankle. And go ahead and push your heel way back. Okay, let's come onto our knees. Inhale, and on your exhale, move your toes out to the side of the mat. We're internally rotating our hips. If this is uncomfortable for your knees, go ahead and put a blanket underneath the knees. So by keeping our knees on the ground, and you can rock forward a little bit if it's uncomfortable on your kneecaps, we create this movement. Bring them back. Have the right foot go under the left as you cross over. That's the start of external rotation. Inhale them back to center. Exhale, take them out again. See if maybe you can go out a little bit farther. Maybe look at the right foot and encourage it to come around. Look at the left foot and encourage it to come around. Inhale back to center, and this time take the right foot on top for external rotation. One more time. Inhale back to center. Exhale, take them out. Internal rotation. See if you can feel the movement, maybe starting to get some movement in your muscles or activity in your muscles in your hips. Beautiful. Bring them back. Take your knees real wide, big toes touch. Inhale, exhale, drive back. Push back with your hands, arch your low back, deep flexion of our hips. Sit bones land. Beautiful. Look at your hands and take them out in front of you a little bit farther. So your pelvis is docked down now. We can start to stretch all the musculature off our fixed pelvis. Maybe take your elbows under the earth sphinx arms and let your forehead rest on the ground here now. And shift your pelvis right and left. Deep hip flexion, a wonderful way to lubricate our hips. If this is pinchy in your hips, you best back off. Good, bring it back to center. Inhale up through scared cat, feet will come apart. Exhale, come forward, the weight over your wrists, and then release down for your hanging cobra. You need to have a strong presence of pressing hands to the earth so your shoulders don't come by your ears. And see if you can feel where the stiffness is. If your low back is pinchy, slide a block underneath your pubic bone. Hang out here for a moment. See if you can shine your heart through the fronts of your shoulders. Yeah. Inhale. Exhale. Slowly bend the elbows. Keep them close into your body line and see if you can put your pelvis on the ground, not your belly button. We get this delicious stretch in our low backs. Inhale up through scared cat. Exhale, toes come together, push back for your wide child again. Maybe a little bit smoother on this repetition. Find yourself back onto the ground. Maybe forehead is on the ground or on a prop. Shift your pelvis right, shift your pelvis left, right, left. Come back to neutral. Inhale up, scared cat. Exhale, come forward, slowly uncoiling the snake. Chest forward, gaze forward. Inhale. On your exhale, look over your right shoulder. See if you can see your right heel back there behind you. Inhale back through center. Exhale, look over your left shoulder. See if you can see your left heel back behind you. Inhale back through center. Exhale, look up. The whole spine is an extension. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, bend the elbows. See if you can open the low back and stretch the musculature across the front of the pelvis. Nice, guys. Inhale up through scared cat. Big toes touch. Last time. And push back, wide child. Dock down for a moment. Shift pelvis right and left. Come on back to neutral. And come on back up. Okay. Let's go into our pigeon. We'll back into pigeon. Come up onto your fingertips. Take your left knee to the center of the mat. Your hands can be on blocks if you need. Take the right leg and push it way back. Kind of just what we did a moment ago. Inhale. And on your exhale, top of the foot, draw it forward. See if you can take your right elbow or your right knee to your elbow and then up into the armpit. Pause for a moment. Big stretch of the toes as well. And then see if maybe you can bring your leg around without using your hand. This might be very difficult for many of you. What you can do is, if that's not working at all, just take your left leg and put it over your right leg and you're in the same position. Let's do this a few times. See if we can get our muscles to help. Bring the leg back again, right leg. The knee will touch the armpit, the knee, and then slide it back, way back. Inhale it forward, top of the foot, elbow, armpit, pause, circle around. Let's stay here now. Marry the knees together. Some of you who practice this a lot, you're totally welcome to bring that right leg forward so your shin is parallel. I think for most of us, let's just keep it there. You can stay on your fingertips. You can come down onto your palms. You can stay on blocks as long as your back isn't pinchy as we walk through this. So the toes of the left foot will walk back and the hands will walk back. We're going to end up at the top of the pose, the king pigeon. Way back you go. Keep walking the toes back, left foot, hands back, foot back, hands back. Press your hands into the earth, onto the fingertips, onto blocks, whatever feels right. You can see we've prepped already. This is Cobra basically, except we have pigeon legs. So the heart is forward, the neck is relaxed, you're not staring at the sky. Now that we've held this for a few seconds, curl your toes under, again, back leg, and pull it back a little bit farther. Nice. Bounce the pelvis for a moment, try not to hold any tension. Inhale, and on your exhale, push the top of the left foot into the ground. The anchor gets thrown back there so that when we slowly draw our body weight forward, the belly chest rests on the thigh. Take your arms for pillow arms and rest your forehead on your pillow arms. Hang out for a moment here. Probably feeling some major sensation in the right hip. It's the deep musculature, our rotators trying to get a stretch. Let's see if we can put our hip in a really great position for release. So guys, you know we're in a forward fold here. Anytime you're in forward fold, the hip needs to be moving towards internal rotation. So take that L hand, your right hand, put it into the top of the right thigh or on the leg bone. Push down towards the earth and then move your thumb towards your groin, and maybe you'll feel your pelvis level off with a little bit more internal rotation. Go ahead and put the belly chest back down again, and maybe there's some more freedom for that right hip. Let's hang out here in our deep pigeon for a few breaths. Try not to let the right hip drop towards the earth, but finding that internal spiral. You might even take the toes of your left foot and pull yourself back one more notch. Maybe even stretch your arms out in front of you, lay out your pigeon. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders on the inhale, and on the exhale, push up, top of the pigeon again. Let's do some rotations here now. Inhale. On the exhale, start to turn the rib cage to the right. So our pelvis stays exactly where it is. We just start to turn the rib cage, and maybe put your elbow down in front. Maybe you can get your elbow on the outside of the right knee. Maybe you'll be up on a bolster. Wherever you're at, look back at your left foot. See if you can find that full rotation. Maybe even reach back with the right hand and use that for your impetus to rotate. That's yummy. Bring it forward. Inhale, exhale, push nice and tall. Let's transition to the other side through plank pose. So curl your toes under on your left foot. Inhale. On the exhale, pull your belly up, pull the egg up into the pelvis. Stretch the right leg back behind you. Squeeze the imaginary marble between the butt cheeks and push your heels to the back of the room. Try to have a flat plank, right? So the pelvis isn't dropped and we're not in a jackknife, but we're held in this plank pose. Allow your knees to release to the earth one at a time. Let's do the other side now. Kids, up onto your fingertips or onto the blocks, whatever's good for you. Your right knee to the center of the mat. Inhale. And on your exhale, take left foot way back behind you. Stretch it way back. Inhale. Exhale, draw lefty forward, the top of the foot. Left knee into the elbow, into the armpit. Pause, stretching the toes. And then bring the leg around to marry them together. Remember, you can just shift the knee over if that's easier for you. Inhale it back. Touch the armpit, touch the elbow. Push back with the left foot all the way back. Inhale, draw it forward, exhale, complete, and around you go. Stay up on the fingertips, come down onto the palms, use your blocks, whatever feels right for you. Start to walk back, toes, hands, hands. I'll meet you back in King Pigeon in a moment. Keep walking back. Requires certainly you have flexibility in your spine. Keep walking those toes back. If it feels like it's too much here, come onto your fingertips or stay up on your blocks. It'll be a stretch of the right side hip flexors, and again, that left deep hip rotators. Use your toes, crawl up back one more notch. Go ahead and bounce it out so you're not holding tension. Inhale. On your exhale, push the top of the right foot into the earth and draw the body weight forward. Lay the belly, chest down on the thigh. Take your arms forward for your pillow arms. Let your forehead rest on your pillow arms. Remember, you're in forward fold here. We'd like to get some internal rotation. Left hip. So take your left hand L shape. Thumb is on the top of the left hip. The thigh bone. Push it down into the earth and move your finger towards your groin. Perhaps you'll feel that sacrum become level. Release down. You can stay with your pillow arms. Maybe stretch the arms out. Pausing for a moment with the breath, marrying breath to movement and to softening. Slide the hands back underneath the shoulders and press up. Inhale. On your exhale, look over the left shoulder. Look way back behind. Go ahead and put the elbow down, right elbow, either in front or to the side. Use that as the impetus for a little bit more rotation. Look back again. Maybe the left hand on the mat, using that to help. Inhale back through center. Exhale, push back up, nice and tall. Toes curl under right leg. Send the left one back for your plank pose again. Push the heels back, pull the belly up, crown of the head. Top of your mat, build a little strength. Good. Put your knees down. Let's sit back in Virasana for a moment. Buns back to heels. Open the fronts of our hips. So buns back to heels, hands back behind you. Thumbs are on the little toes or the sides of your feet. Inhale. On the exhale, pull the elbows in and then lift the hips. So the pelvis will leave the heels. See if you can push the top front of the pelvis towards the sky. So the stretch is really your quads and your hip flexors. Trying to watch that you're not going into too much back extension, but more pushing the pelvis forward, finding hip extension. Beautiful. Release the sit bones down. Inhale, bring the child forward. On the exhale, decelerate to the earth, back into deep hip flexion. Forehead will touch. Inhale the body back up, pull the low ribs in. Exhale, shoulders come up and behind. Lean back a little bit more. Bend the right elbow, look over the right shoulder. And the left elbow, look over the left shoulder. Come on back to center. All right. Go ahead and sit down on your mat. Take a blanket underneath your buns. If you normally sit up on something in seated postures, try not to have your low back rounded. Start with your ankle bones and big toe knuckles touching. Take your hands behind you. Inhale. On your exhale, hips externally rotate. Our knees and our ankles aren't doing anything. They're going along for the ride. See how far out they go. See, does your right foot turn a lot more than your left? And if it does, try to match lefty to righty. Inhale, back up. Touch the inside ankle bones and toes together. And let's repeat that same thing. See if you can do the same thing with your right leg that you're doing with your left. Strengthening the muscles, finding the extremes of range. Inhale back again. Okay, let's work internal rotation now. So pull your legs apart a little bit. Inhale. On the exhale, let them rotate out again, just what you did. Righty and lefty doing the same thing, hopefully. Inhale back to center. Now on the exhale, internally rotate, try to touch the big toes together. Maybe you'll get some cramping in your hips because you don't use those muscles very much. Inhale back to center. Exhale, let it rotate out. Inhale back to center, let it rotate in. If it feels like, oh, I can do this easily, then take your legs apart a little bit more and try to touch them. So for the next moment or two, you adjust your legs accordingly. How far apart can they be to get external rotation and still be able to find internal rotation? So this is a lovely way to orient yourself to the movements and to find some of the strength to the muscles to make the movements happen. Nice. Okay, let's come back and sit. Grab your block. And let's start with our block, the shortest or most narrow position, and put it between your feet. So your feet don't have to be in all that close. They shouldn't be close to the groin, more like a diamond shape. So what I'd like you to start thinking about now is, as you sit here, what's preventing you, as you sat before in half lotus, what's preventing your knees from going towards the earth? Is it tightness of the musculature? Is it restriction in the joints? Is it a combination of all of it? So let's go through this exercise, these tickets here, and see at the end of it, are your legs more open? And if they are, then the answer is this is part musculature. So take it away for just a moment, put the soles of your feet together and feel where the resistance might be. And let's go through this. Okay, put it back in. You can have your hands on your shins, sometimes for good stability. Inhale, and on the exhale, push your feet into the block slowly, not real quickly, and then use your elbows to try to open the groins a little bit. So the feet push to the block, the elbows push down, and your knees can push up. Pause for a moment. My back is not rounded, I'm flexed at my hips. I'm going to release the press of my feet and the press of the elbows and see, can the legs open a little bit more? Do it again. Inhale. Exhale, push the feet into the block. Push the elbows down and the knees up. Do all this very slowly. Release and see if the legs open a little bit more. We'll do one more. Inhale. Exhale, push the feet to the block, push the elbows down, knees up. And release. Take your block out and see, are your legs a little bit lower? Mine are. If that felt like you could tolerate that with no problem, take the block now and put it in this way so that it's a little bit broader. And pull your heels in a little bit closer. Elbows to knees. Lean up. Inhale. On the exhale, push the feet to the block. Elbows down into knees, knees up into elbows. Release and open them. Inhale. Exhale, push feet to block, knees to elbows. Release. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, feet to block, elbows, knees, knees, elbows. Release. Slide the block out, soles of the feet, oh my goodness. Legs are opening. This was adductor tightness for me. See what's going on for you. If you can, take the block and put it in as wide as it can be. So all these different positions take our joint, our hip joint, into a slightly different angle. Let's try this 3 times 2. Inhale. Exhale, push the feet into the block, knees down, or elbows down, knees up. Release, open. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze. Elbows down, knees up. Release. Last time. Inhale. Exhale, feet to block. Elbows, knees, release. Slide the block out, put the feet together, and where are your legs now? Okay. Let's go ahead and find our way onto our backs. Move into crazy legs, should feel really good. Knees together, feet apart. Most of you guys know crazy legs. Arms out in the T. Inhale. On the exhale, let the left knee slide down the inside of the right shin. Your left butt cheek will come up, but your sacrum stays down. Inhale the legs back to neutral, the TP position, and then right knee slides down inside of left shin as the legs go to the left. Inhale back up. Let's do that a few times. We've really opened our hips, so maybe your crazy legs is deeper today. Continue on. Keep the legs moving, add the arms to it. Thumbs go into the elbow creases, legs will go to the right, arms will go to the left. Legs to the right, arms to the left. Keep going back and forth with that a few times. The slower the better, strengthening and lubricating. Add the head now. The head follows the knees while the elbows go opposite. Inhale all back to center and reverse. Inhale to center, reverse. Add the eyeballs now. Eyeballs will follow elbows, either eyes open or closed. Eyeballs and elbows one way, head and knees opposite. Beautiful. Bring it back to neutral. Let's do our Piriformis Sequence. Right leg will go over left. Ankle bone is outside of the knee joint for safety. Take your hands on the top of the pelvis. Be sure that your bikini bones are level and pointed straight to the sky, that the pelvis isn't skewed. Keep the toes of the right foot pulled back to the knee. That keeps your knee safe. And take your right hand onto your right thigh and give it a push. So we push it enough that we start to open the joint space, but not so much that you skew the pelvis. In addition to pushing towards the bottom of your mat, go ahead and push towards the sky a bit, a little bit more opening of the joint and some stretch of the muscles. We'll go deeper now. Take your hands or a belt through the hole in the legs, and the hands will interlace behind the left knee. The left knee softens. Check that you're on the back of the head, not the crown of the head. If your head, the crown of the head is like this on the earth, put a block or a blanket underneath. Inhale. On your exhale, draw your knees towards your chest. Provided you don't have a low back disc problem, roll your low back off the earth. So look at how far we can get our legs to come up when we add our spine to it. Not necessarily bad unless you've got a disc problem, but I'm looking more for the hip. So see if you can put your sacrum down now. The sacrum goes down, you feel the arch come in your low back, hopefully, and now it's really a hip stretch. If your right elbow is on that right thigh, push the elbow towards the thigh and push the thigh towards the elbow. Contract. Release, and try a little bit more stretch. Sacrum stays down. Nice work. Straighten your left leg now. Add some hamstring to it. Look up at the toes of your left foot. The toes will come to your face, and then they'll go to the sky. Work through that posterior line from your heel all the way up into your hamstrings, and have the toes come to rest towards the face. Slide your hands now down the back of the thigh, closer to the groin, and push the back of the hamstring flesh into your hands, and your hip and low back will release. Shoulder blades are down on the earth. If you feel you can hold this position and let go with your hands, do so. If you feel like you release your hands and the whole pose degrades, then put them back again. Using your left quad and your core here, let's hold for a moment in this figure 4. If you're holding the back of your leg, release. Everybody put your heel down onto the earth. Find the whole sole of the foot down. Let's do a single bridge. Inhale. On the exhale, push the sole of the foot into the earth. Pull the imaginary egg up into the pelvis and tack your belly towards your spine. Lift your hips. Your left foot is pressing into the earth, so left glute's going to contract. Fire up the right glute so that the pelvis stays level. Hang out here for a moment or two. We've already opened up this external rotation. Hopefully you can feel the work. Lower the spine towards the earth.
When you get to the bottom of the rib cage, keep the low back arched and put the sacrum down, skip the low back. And now the best part of this stretch, we're gonna roll over. Inhale. On the exhale, roll your whole body over onto your left side. The entire system comes over. You might want to slide a block or a blanket underneath your head if your head's too far from the earth. And take your right hand onto your right shin there and hold the foot in place for a moment. And switch your hand, put left onto the shin and start to crawl the left leg back to the back of the mat. That's the most important cue. So keep using the little toe of the left foot to try to get the left thigh parallel to the front of your mat. You got it. If you can easily grab your shin or your foot with your right hand, do so. If it's fishing expedition, don't do it. And then roll yourself slowly, shoulder blades towards the earth. You guys know how to get the rotation a little deeper. Left elbow will push into the earth, lift your heart, and rotate a little bit more. See if you can find your open position. Let's pause here. Ideal world, shoulder blades on the earth, heart to the sky, and you're looking over your right shoulder. Right leg will be the screen door. Let that open and close a bit. Lubricating the hip, getting some stretch at this deep rotation. Good. Let the leg come to rest. If you're holding your underneath leg, release it. Roll back onto your back. Your right leg still crossed. Beautiful. Uncross right. Stretch both legs out. See what things feel like. If you're listening closely, it's probably being said, do your left side. Go ahead and cross it. Ankle bone outside a knee joint. Hands on the pelvis. Be sure that the pelvis is level. Left hand onto the left thigh. Inhale, and on your exhale, give it a push. So push that left thigh down towards the bottom of the mat. We start to open up the hip muscles, the joint. In addition to pushing towards the bottom of the mat, push towards the sky. Gentle glide of the ball in the socket. Let's go deeper now. Either your hand or a strap. Left hand through the hole in the legs, grabs the right hand behind the right knee. Right leg is soft. Inhale. On the exhale, draw the knees to the chest. Roll your low back off the earth, provided it doesn't pinch your back. Put your sacrum back down now. Low back will arch, and there's the stretch in your hip. Keep drawing the knees towards the chest a bit. See if you can find where the resistance is in that left hip. Straighten the right leg, send the flag up. Plantar and dorsiflex that ankle a few times. Feel how it ties into all the other muscles and connective tissues. Slide your hands down your thigh now, closer towards the groin. Push the back of the hamstring flesh towards the hands. The hip will soften. See if you can keep your shoulder blades down. If you got the belly strength and quad strength, release your hands without the pose degrading. Find the breath here. If you're holding the back of your leg, release. Everybody put your heel down close to your buttock. We'll do a single leg bridge. Inhale. On the exhale, push the sole of the feet into the earth. Pull your egg up, pull your belly down, and start to lift the pelvis. Again, right foot pressing the earth now, so your glute will fire up. Find lefty as well, so it stays somewhat parallel to the earth. Your left hip isn't dropped down. Inhale, and on your exhale, slowly lower to the earth. Skip the low back, imprint the sacrum. Let's roll it now. Inhale, and on your exhale, roll over onto your right side. Left foot goes down. You can hold it with the hand for a moment so it stays in place. And then switch to the right hand. And then crawl the right leg back behind you. Open up the front of the pelvis and the quad. If it's easy enough for you to do, bend that underneath leg and grab your shin or your foot without too much of a hamstring cramp. If possible, roll and put your shoulder blades down on the earth. You can do your micro adjustment with your right elbow pushing into the earth and lift the heart for more rotation. See if you can allow your shoulder blades to release down towards the ground. Maybe look over the left shoulder. Good. Start your screen door action with your left leg. Beautiful. Bring that to rest. Roll back onto your back with a crossed leg. And go ahead and let your legs out in front. Rest for a moment. Come sit up for a moment. Look at your feet again. Do the same thing we did midway through this. Take the feet apart. See if it, oh my goodness, it's so much easier to touch my big toes together. And then roll them out. So halfway through this now, what you've already done to your system. Okay, let's go back to our backs and do our psoas block sequence. Find yourself on your back, please. You'll slide the block underneath your pelvis. So bridge up. The block goes in lengthwise underneath the pelvis. It's on your sacrum. Most of you guys know this beautiful sequence. If the block doesn't feel right, you keep adjusting it till you find your spot. So how does this fit into our hip thing today? This is going to be the stretch of our hip flexors that are usually much tighter than the extensors because of how we live our lives in the seated place. All right. Inhale. On your exhale, slide your right leg down the mat. Push it way down. It's Tadasana. Oriented to our hips today, right? Sliding the ball lower down in the socket, taking it away from the roof and moving it lower down. Let that right leg soften out to the right side. Inhale. Exhale, slide lefty down. Tadasana to start. And then let it release. So both legs will be externally rotated. Let's do a little bit of release through our psoas muscles. So take your hands and find your belly button. And then take the fingers, so the four fingers, not your thumb, and dig in to the flesh about 2 inches to either side of your belly button. That's the psoas, P-S-O-A-S, from your spine down to your thighs. So walk your fingers up through the abdomen, and they'll come to the bottom of the rib cage. That's where your psoas attaches. Let's release the diaphragm while we're in the neighborhood. So take your fingers underneath the rib cage and you work the diaphragm. You'll soften diaphragm. Diaphragm also, besides being a respiratory muscle, is also a back stabilizer. Good. Walk the fingers back to center and then down 2 inches outside your belly button. Past the belly button through the pelvis. And your hands will come onto the tops of your thighs, the inside of the thighs where that psoas muscle attaches. Nice. Take your arms up over your head. Now reach to the back of the mat. Stretch it way out. Take your right hand around your left wrist. Long body. Left hand, right wrist. Long body. Go ahead and lay out like this for a moment. Catch your breath. It's a advantageous position for filling your lungs, a huge circumference to your rib cage. See if you can inflate those balloons to the size of the rib cage. Hold the breath at the end of your inhale for just a second or two, and then let it out. Bring your arms back to your sides. Bend your knees, put your feet on the floor, readjust the block should you need to. Take your hands around the front of your right knee and draw it to your chest. It's hip flexion, full hip flexion. Circle your ankle clockwise and counterclockwise. Spread the toes. Toes come to rest, our hands go behind our knee and we stretch it up a little bit farther. Hamstring stretch, right side. Let's stretch the hamstring now behind our knee. Inhale. On the exhale, hold your hands behind your thigh and straighten out your right leg. If your hamstrings are tight, your leg will be down past 90 degrees. If your hamstrings are somewhat loose, your hip will be closer to 90 degrees. You figure out where it needs to be. Let's go back and forth with that a few times. Inhale. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale. Exhale, release it. Inhale, draw it in. Exhale, let it out. Look up at your foot, dorsiplantar flexion. Irrigate the whole limb. Then bring the foot to rest. Inhale. Exhale, draw the leg in again. Touch the thigh down onto the rib cage. And then slide it to the right. It's a lateral glide. You're moving your big thigh bone away from rib cage. Take the sole of the right foot and stand it on the sky. If you can easily enough grab the outside border of the right foot with your hand, do that. If it's too far away, put a strap on the bottom of the foot or just have your hand stay behind your thigh. Let's get the stretch now of our left hip flexor. Inhale. On the exhale, slide the left leg down the mat. So slide it down the mat, still trying to hold the sole of the right foot to the sky. You might discover where the tightnesses are. If your knee is bent, then your quads are tight. And if your hip is stuck up, then you know that your hip flexors are tight. If you can't extend your hip out, your flexors are tight. Hang on here. See if you can really feed into the resistance, softening it, and then take the left arm up over the head. Half a happy baby. Left hand comes back to your side. Bend the left knee, put the foot on the earth. Release the right leg down. Readjust the block as necessary. Let's do the other side. Hands around the front of the left knee. Draw it in towards the chest. Circle the ankle clockwise, counterclockwise. People are often afraid of snaps and pops. This is all good stuff here, mobilizing our joints. Have the foot come to rest. Spread the toes. Release the toes. Take the hands behind the knee. Draw the knee up towards the chest. We'll open our hamstrings. Inhale. On the exhale, you return your leg to a straight knee and wherever your hip needs to be to have the knee straight. Back and forth with that a few times, inhaling and exhaling, trying to get the release on the exhale. Straighten the knee, do your dorsiflexion, plantar flexion of the ankle. Try to lubricate all those small joints in the feet. Draw the left knee back in again. The thigh will rest on the belly chest. Do a lateral glide, slide that left leg over towards the left side. Take the sole of the left foot, stand it on the sky. Grab the outside border of the foot with your hand or a strap, or hands stay behind your hammies. And go ahead and straighten out the right leg. Maybe you'll notice the right side, very different than the left side. Maybe they're bookends and exactly the same. Softening, releasing. So many of us with these tight hip flexors from all the sitting and driving and emotional components. Take the right arm up over the head, reach back, find the elegance. Bring the arm back, slide the right foot back, sole of the foot to the earth. Put your feet down on the ground. Readjust the block, it's underneath the sacrum. Let's take our hands down to the bottom of the block like they're bridge arms, right? So interlace the fingers if your arms are long enough. Your hands purchase the bottom of the block. Inhale. On the exhale, bring your knees to your chest. Push your sacrum down into the block. You'll see your low back will arch. What a cool feeling there. And then straighten your legs to stretch your hamstrings. See if you can pull the toes back a little bit so the legs are as straight up as possible. Working your arms here in your core to help to hold things stable as we part the waters. Inhale, and on the exhale, let those legs start to come apart. It's a V shape. Maybe some snaps and cracks in your hips. Let them open up, and when they've opened up as far as they can, let them go a little bit more. Yeah. Inhale, legs back together. The ankle bones will touch. And on the exhale, let them come apart again. Inhale them back together. Exhale, last time, let them come apart. Inhale back together. On the exhale, move into your Supta Baddha Konasana, legs, soles of the feet push together, and the heels lower right down to the groin, not to the bottom of the mat. Inhale, and on the exhale, see if you can push your feet together the whole time they rise up, and then they come toes to face, heels to heaven. Inhale, exhale, lower down again, drop the heels towards the groins, pause for a moment. Inhale, exhale, push the soles of the feet together, take them up. Pull the toes to the face. Right leg down, left leg down. Lift your hips, bridge up for a moment, slide the block out from underneath, and put your hips back down onto the ground. Soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana legs. What's happened to our hips and our leg muscles? Maybe you can feel, my goodness, my legs are closer to the earth now. Maybe they're the same old thing. See what it feels like for you. Now draw the legs back up again, together. Take your arms out in a T. Inhale. And on the exhale, keep your knees and ankles glued together. Let your legs roll over to the right side. So let the legs go first. See if you can put them down. And then bring the arm over with it. Touch down. Inhale the arm back up again. Legs back up again. And then switch. Legs drop to the left. Let them go as far as they can on their own. And then bring the arm up so you're in your side position. Inhale the arm back up again. The momentum will bring the legs back up. And go back and forth with this a few times. Legs first. Maybe you'll notice second round, wow, my legs got a little closer to the earth, and then close down with the arm. Inhale back up, arm. Bring the legs, exhale. Legs first. Yep, and roll over on your left side. Beautiful. Inhale back up, center position. Roll over onto your right side, come to sit. Let's go right into sitting pretty. We've prepped ourselves. Hopefully this will feel really good for you. Okay, guys. Right foot, left thigh. Left foot can be turned out this way, or if your ankle is flexible enough, be on the top of that left foot in plantar flexion. Remember, we're doing hip internal rotation on one side, left side, and hip external rotation on the other side. Some of you are probably sitting something like this with the left butt cheek off the ground because the internal rotation isn't there. If that's your scenario, then get your blanket and put it underneath the right butt cheek. So with this, the pelvis will be off the ground, but it will be level. So do what you need to do to try to get the pelvis level. All right, take your hands back behind you. Inhale. On your exhale, keep the headlights forward. Just move the pelvis and hip and push the front of the left hip towards the top of your mat. As you release, you got a few options here. We want internal rotation.
of that left hip. So you can do it in your mind's eye. You can take your left hand like an L shape, and as your pelvis starts to release, it's a little counterintuitive, it internally rotates, not external, but internal. Push it forward again. Open the front of the hip flexor. You can take your middle finger of your left hand, find your sit bone in the mush there, and see if you can put your sit bone down onto that finger. That's another sensory cue to get the movement to happen. Do that a few times, however you choose, mind's eye, middle finger, or L hand, and try to find that nuance, that movement of internal spiral in your left hip. Good. Come to rest now, sit bones down on the earth. Take your fist, push into the earth, lift, shake it out, and put it down and see, oh my goodness, I can feel what's going on. Right hip external, left hip internal. Okay, let's turn this into our twist now. Left leg's gonna go over right. So lean back a little bit. Use your muscles to bring the leg around and put it down. Do that same adjustment we just did. Fist to the earth and sit. Use your blanket under your buns if you're feeling like you're sitting like this. You can also have your underneath leg straight out. Customize your practice. Hands on your knee, big open heart. Arms up. Inhale. On your exhale, do your 12-second rule. So 12 ribs on the right side, starting from the bottom. We'll turn 1 second each rib. Last rib is underneath your collarbone. So see if you can keep turning until you've turned that last rib underneath your collarbone. Inhale back to center. Exhale, do your closed twist. Same thing, ribs on the left, turning, rotating. Inhale back to center. Exhale around to the right. Muscles have taught us how it works. Release your arms now. Use your arms to help eke out a little bit more squeeze of the sponge. Inhale back to center. Exhale left. Release the arms. Use those as your extra added bonus. Inhale back to center. Hands to the knee. Take that left leg, put it back where we found it. Right foot, left thigh. And let's spin our beast to the earth now. Same ribs. Inhale. On the exhale, turn the rib cage to the right. And put your arms down for staggered sphinx arms. Right elbow forward, left elbow touches right knee. Inhale. On the exhale, push your hands and elbows into the earth and bring the crown of your head towards the top of your mat. So before you lay your beast down, find this extension. We don't collapse to the earth. We're going to keep the spine in its nice alignment. Take the left arm forward, do your sphinx arms, a little bit more of that lengthening. If your underneath hip is pinchy, slide your right hip knee forward a little bit. It should get rid of the pinch. Go ahead and put your body down. Put your forehead down on your pillow arms. And then straighten your left leg down your mat. It's a Tadasana leg, so straighten it out. And then crawl it to the back of the mat. So the whole front of your hip flexors are going to open up even more. See if you can spin your heart to the earth. Find that rotation through the rib cage. Pause here, maybe even straighten out your arms if you'd like. Draw the arms back in. Push yourself back up. Tall position. We'll move into gate pose. So same start position. Take the right hand out onto the mat. You can take our left hand onto the top of the thigh for a moment and push it down. Inhale. On your exhale, drop the right elbow to the earth. Press your hand and elbow into the earth to bolster up the system so you're not caving in. We're keeping it nice and open. Take the left hand now into your armpit. Lengthen out the spine. Always this spinal lengthening. Use the thumb to rotate the heart up towards the sky. Inhale the left hand up. And on the exhale, come across town with the hand. Feel the stretch, ideally from your left hip all the way out your fingertips. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Inhale up, the Saramonte car dealer, over to the other side. Left elbow down to the ground, or a block, or a bolster, or whatever you need, a chair, and reach out. Inhale up, and exhale other side. Beautiful. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale back to start. Okay, strategize how we're going to switch to the other side with as much grace and elegance as possible. Lean back, inhale, and on your exhale, flip the legs around, opposite. Left foot, right thigh. Right foot behind you, or out to the side, whatever feels more comfortable. Fists to the ground, lift and shake them out. You can sit on a blanket. Hands behind. Right hip, inhale. On your exhale, don't turn the chest. Push through the front of those hip flexors. And you got your choices now. Mind's eye, L-shaped hand, middle finger under sit bone. Internally spiral that hip to try to get the sit bone to the earth. Do that a few times. Pushing the pelvis forward, trying not to rotate the chest. Sink down in, right sit bone closer towards the ground. Last time, push forward. Sit bone release. Pause for a moment, maybe lift and shake it out. Find the breath in the pelvis, right? Okay, let's move into our seated twist. Righty's going to move over lefty. So lean back, take the right leg around left, fist to the earth, lift. Put it down. Big toe knuckle right foot on the earth, hands on the ground, big open heart. Arms come up. Inhale. Exhale, 12-second rule, left side of the rib cage, turn to your left. Make the muscles do as much of it as they can. Inhale back to center. Exhale right. Inhale back to center, exhale left. Release the arms, use those as your elegant sponge squeeze. Inhale back to center, exhale right. Release the arms, get your last few degrees of rotation. Inhale back to center, hands release, lean back. Right leg goes back where we found it. Left foot on right thigh. We'll make a left hand turn now. Inhale. On the exhale, use your ribs to turn it. Release the arms to the earth. Right elbow on left thigh. Staggered Sphinx arms. Inhale. Exhale. Press the hands and elbows into the earth. This is spinal lengthening. Trying to find this periscoped movement. Slide the right arm forward, do the same thing. When we come to the earth, we don't just flex down, but we maintain this length. Cross the arms, put the forehead down. Straighten the right leg now, yumminess. Push that right foot to the bottom of the mat and then back behind you. So the whole front of the right hip flexors open. Psoas iliacus, one of your quadriceps. Maybe straighten your arms if that's part of your agenda. See if you can find that opening, lay out your beast. Bring it back up again. Draw your limbs in. Find your neutral sit again. Move into gate pose, hand out. Elbow comes down. Right hand. Push the hip down to start with. Find the integrity of this left arm. Thumb into the armpit. Inhale. Exhale. Lengthen. Yummy. Roll the heart up towards the sky a bit. Inhale the arm up. Look at it. And then on the exhale comes across too. Your left arm is very stabilizing. You're not caving in. It's this long line from your right waistline out your fingertip. Inhale up, exhale, switch to the opposite side, elbow down on something. You can even rest it on your hip if you'd like to. Reach out. Inhale back up. Exhale, switch. Inhale up. Exhale, switch. Inhale back to start. Oh, yummy. Okay. If you used a blanket at the beginning for your half lotus, let's compare apples and apples. Sit back up on your blanket and then cross your legs in your half lotus. I can only tell you what I feel. There's just no tension in my hips or in my muscles. So I feel like my joints have been lubricated and open to the range, and I feel like the muscles have definitely softened. I hope you guys feel the same thing. Cross the opposite way now. What does that one feel like? Okay. One more pose and seated, and then we'll find ourselves in Shavasana. So let's do log stack. Right leg comes forward, ankle, knee, and hip are at 90 degrees, right? So you got a 90, 90, 90. Left leg is gonna fit over the top of it. So it may seem like, oh my goodness, this is so stiff. It probably is. So the heel is not close in, your foot is by your knee. If you've got a huge space between your leg and your ankle, put a block in, something to take up that space. See what you can do, keeping the toes of the left foot pulled in to start to let this left leg release down. It's a lot of mobility in your hips for sure. Hands behind, big open heart. I know you're feeling this in your right hip just like I am. See if you can just soften. Oh yeah, there it goes. Soften into it and the left leg will start to release down closer towards the right ankle. If that isn't enough for you and you'd like to try a bit more, no flexing, bring your heart forward and take your hands out in front of you. See if you can soften that left knee in towards your ankle. Yeah. Sensation, where is that? And for the ultimate in this, if you've got a little more room, turn your body, your hands will frame your left foot. And when I reach out, trying to put my heart onto my heel. It's a huge unwind of that left hip. Crawl back to center. Crawl back to tall sit. Uncross the legs and cross them up opposite. Left is on the bottom, right is on the top. Ideally 90, 90, 90, hip, knees, and ankle. Right ankle bone is over the knee, and see if you can release into this. Maybe you'll find one side completely different than the other, maybe match set. To keep your knee safe, keep the toes of the right foot pulled back towards the knee. Soften in. Use a block or a bolster or a trunk to take up the space. To go a little deeper, rock forward onto the pelvis. We flex at the hips, we don't round the spine. The hands come forward, softening in. Last, deepest, frame your foot and see if you can bring your heart out towards your heel. Back to center, back up. And last time, sit in your half lotus. Oh my goodness, it's like a little vacation here now. Yeah, okay. Onto your backs, nothing fancy. Find yourself on your back. Stretch your legs out. Take your arms up over your head. Find that beautiful wide open rib cage. Something tells me your mind isn't quite so cluttered anymore. Maybe you've shifted your focus and changed your mindset. Oh my goodness, thank God for our practice. Bring your arms back down to your side. Grab your mat with your fists. Inhale. On your exhale, push your hands towards your feet. Slink up the mat an inch or two. Cover your eyes if you wish. If not, just close them. Turn your palms to the sky for a big, open, receptive position. Feel the rhythm of your breath. Where is it? Not necessarily looking to change it, just observing it. Touch the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth. We know it takes us into our calming, our parasympathetic system, balancing our scales. Let the tongue release now to the bottom of the mouth. The lips will part slightly. No tongue and no teeth, no gripping, no grinding. Softness. We are the masters of our own domain. With our breath, with our physical practice, our asana practice, with all the limbs of yoga, we can restore this calmness. Allow yourselves to go out for a minute or so, off to one of your very favorite spots. Maybe you're in it right now. Go off for a moment or two and enjoy your Shavasana. Find the marble on the back of your skull. It's the center of the skull. The inion. Let your head rock side to side very slowly. It's not an alarm clock awakening. It's a very slow return from our lucid sleep. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring your physical bodies back around. When you're ready, bend your knees, slide your heels towards your buttocks. Glue your knees and ankles together and roll over onto your right side for our transition position. Transition position, offer inspiring thoughts of generosity, of kindness, of altruism and seva, empathy, compassion. We're reminded here of our loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. And may the thoughts, words, and actions of my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Oh my goodness, imagine if we all lived by that simple statement. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. What a different world this would be. We can start it. Inhale, and on your exhale, slowly draw yourself back up to seated position. Touch down to the earth with your fingertips. Feel the grounding, feel the connection. Bring your hands to your heart center. Draw that energy up into the heart center. The thumbs rest on the heart rises. We pause here, reminding ourselves to be so grateful for all we have. Inhale. On your exhale, let your hands float forward. Fingertips touch, fingernails touch, hands open like a lotus. Draw the sweetness back into your heart center. Backs of the hands roll, thumbs to heart. Take your thumbs to your third eye. Still contemplation, point all seeing eye, ESP eye, our clarity spot. Let's see if we can zone into each other's energies here as we bow. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. Thank you, dogs. It does feel like India here today. I got a nice sweat going. I'm definitely not cold. I'm going to hang out for a little bit. Love to chat with you guys for a few. Thank you, Ike, on the other end of this for having everything run so smoothly. We'll see you guys again next Sunday. And remember, if you'd like to join me during the week, I do Tuesday and Thursday mornings, 7:30 a.m. California time via Yoga Works and Yoga Trees website. Thank you, beautiful yogis. See you.